They say the best revenge is a life well lived, but sometimes the best revenge is a PowerPoint presentation delivered to your company's board of directors, your mother, and your sister's fiancé, all at the same time. Emma Chen stood at the front of the sleek conference room at Chen Digital Solutions, her hands steady on the remote despite her racing heart. Around the polished mahogany table sat 12 of the most important people in her professional world. Board members, investors, her mother, Helen, the CEO who'd built this tech empire from nothing. And there, in the front row with that perfect smile she'd perfected since childhood, sat her sister Victoria. Victoria's fiancé, David, looked proud as he adjusted his tie, clearly expecting some sweet presentation about their upcoming wedding. After all, Emma was supposed to be the supportive little sister, wasn't she? The one who always cleaned up Victoria's messes, who never fought back when credit was stolen or relationships were sabotaged. "Thank you all for joining us for this special presentation," Emma began, her voice carrying the professional confidence she'd learned in her years climbing the corporate ladder, before Victoria knocked her back down. "Today, I want to share something very personal about my sister Victoria, about the patterns that have shaped our family, our company, and the lives of everyone who's ever tried to love her." Victoria's smile flickered slightly, just for a moment, but Emma caught it. "You see, Victoria has always been excellent at tests, creating them, administering them, and most importantly, making sure everyone else fails them." Emma clicked to the first slide, which showed a simple title, "The Manipulation Playbook, a Case Study." David shifted in his seat. Their mother's brow furrowed. Victoria's perfectly manicured fingers gripped the edge of the table. "But what happens," Emma continued, her voice growing stronger with each word, "when someone finally learns to pass every single one?" The room fell silent. Emma clicked to the next slide, and Victoria's world began to crumble. But let's rewind 6 months, back when Emma still believed in family loyalty, back when she thought her biggest problem was a boyfriend who'd suddenly turned cold and distant. It started with an Instagram story, a black screen with white text. "Some people really disappoint you, LOL." Emma stared at her phone in Marcus's apartment, confused. She'd posted it without thinking, just venting about a frustrating client meeting. But Marcus was looking at her like she'd just committed a crime. "Really, Emma? This is how we're doing this now?" His voice had that edge she'd never heard before. 2 years together, and suddenly he sounded like a stranger. "Doing what? Marcus, what are you talking about?" "The passive-aggressive posts, the mind games. I'm not going to sit here and beg you to tell me what's wrong just so you can feel validated." He was packing his laptop, his movements sharp and angry. "I told you from the beginning, I hate this high school drama bullshit." Emma felt the world tilting. Marcus, it wasn't even about you. It was about work. I had a terrible meeting with..." "Don't." He held up his hand. "Just don't. Your sister warned me this would happen eventually." The words hit like ice water. "My sister? What does Victoria have to do with anything?" Marcus paused, his laptop bag halfway to his shoulder. For a moment, something flickered across his face. Doubt, maybe, but it was gone too quickly. "She cares about you, Emma. She was worried you were falling into old patterns. The attention-seeking, the emotional manipulation. She said you used to do this stuff in college, testing people, making them prove they cared." His voice softened slightly, which somehow made it worse. "Look, I love you, but I can't be in a relationship where I have to decode your feelings through social media posts." Emma's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Old patterns? Emotional manipulation? She'd never done anything like that in her life. Victoria knew that. Victoria knew everything about her relationships because Emma told her everything. Every fight, every insecurity, every weakness. "She said you'd probably deny it." Marcus continued, shouldering his bag. That you might not even realize you were doing it. But Emma, I can't live like this. I can't be with someone who tests my love through Instagram stories and then acts innocent when I don't pass. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like a gunshot in the sudden silence. Emma stood there for 20 minutes, staring at that black screen post, trying to understand what had just happened. Then she called Victoria.
Oh, honey.
Her sister's voice was syrup-sweet with false sympathy.
I'm so sorry. I was hoping I was wrong about Marcus, but some men just can't handle emotional women. You're better off without him.
That's when Emma knew. In that moment, listening to Victoria's practiced comfort, she understood exactly what had happened, and she began planning what would happen next. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Emma spent the next 3 days going through years of memories with new eyes, and what she found made her sick. Victoria hadn't just destroyed her relationship with Marcus. This was a masterpiece of long-term manipulation. College. Emma's so emotional, Mom. Remember when she cried over that professor's feedback? Translation. Emma cares too much to succeed in business. Her first job interview. She's brilliant, but sometimes she gets overwhelmed. Maybe start her in a support role? Translation. Keep Emma beneath me. The promotion she'd earned last year. I worry Emma isn't ready for that level of responsibility. She's still dealing with some personal issues. Translation. I want that job. Every relationship before Marcus had ended the same way. The guy would suddenly start questioning Emma's maturity, her emotional stability, her readiness for commitment. And Victoria was always there afterward with tissues and wine, playing the supportive sister while secretly celebrating another elimination. But Marcus had been different. Marcus had lasted 2 years, had talked about marriage, had seen through Victoria's surface charm. That's when Victoria escalated. The texts Emma found on her old phone made her hands shake. Messages between Victoria and Marcus from months ago. I'm so worried about Emma. She's been doing this thing where she posts cryptic stuff when she's upset instead of just talking. It's like she wants you to chase her for attention. I've seen her do it with other guys. She tests them constantly. I just don't want to see you get hurt like they did. Maybe try not responding next time she does one of those posts. See if she can actually communicate like an adult. Marcus had believed every word because why wouldn't he? This was Emma's sister. The person who supposedly knew her best, who supposedly loved her most. Emma stared at those messages until her eyes burned. Victoria had spent months programming Marcus to see manipulation in everything Emma did, priming him to leave at the first opportunity. Then came the final proof. Victoria's journal, forgotten in Emma's apartment after their last sister bonding night. The entry that made Emma's blood turn to ice. E finally posted one of her emotional Instagram things. Perfect timing. Em is already primed to see it as manipulation. Should be over by tonight. Then maybe Mom will finally see that E isn't VP material after all. VP material. The promotion Emma had worked 3 years to earn. The position their mother had promised her. Victoria hadn't just destroyed her relationship. She'd been systematically dismantling Emma's entire life. Emma had always been good at research. It's what made her an excellent marketer. But this time, she wasn't researching consumer behavior or market trends. She was researching her sister. Victoria had a playbook, and Emma was going to learn every page. The patterns were everywhere once you knew what to look for. Victoria's college roommate who suddenly became unstable right before sorority elections. Her first boyfriend who broke up with her because she was too controlling. But only after Victoria had convinced him that his girlfriend was manipulating him through tears. Emma spent hours on social media, tracking down Victoria's old friends, her ex-colleagues, anyone who'd been close enough to see the machinery in action. What she found was a graveyard of relationships and a trail of people who all described the same thing. Victoria's uncanny ability to make you question your own reality. But Emma also found something else. Something Victoria didn't know about. Marcus had called her. "Emma, His voice on the voicemail was shaky. "I think I made a mistake. I keep thinking about what you said, about the work thing, and it doesn't add up. Victoria said you always posted those attention-seeking things when you were upset with me, but I went back through your Instagram and you barely post at all, and never about relationships." Emma played the message 3 times before calling him back. "I was an idiot," Marcus said when he answered. "She played me, didn't she?" "She played both of us," Emma replied. "But Marcus, I need to ask you something. Do you still have those text messages from Victoria? The ones where she warned you about me?" "Yeah, why?" Emma smiled for the first time in days. "Because I'm going to need them." Marcus became her first recruit. Then came Sarah, Victoria's former assistant, who'd been fired for insubordination after questioning one of Victoria's projects. Then David's best friend, James, who'd mentioned how Victoria always seemed to know exactly what David was insecure about. By the end of 2 weeks, Emma had a team of 5 people and a folder full of evidence that painted a clear picture. Victoria Chen was a master manipulator who used psychological warfare to eliminate competition and control relationships. But Emma wasn't just collecting evidence. She was learning to speak Victoria's language, and she was about to become fluent. Emma had learned Victoria's greatest weakness. She couldn't resist a manipulation opportunity, even when she didn't need to create one. The first test came at their monthly family dinner. Emma arrived with a small bandage on her finger and waited. "Oh, honey, what happened?" their mother Helen asked immediately. "Just a kitchen accident. I was distracted, thinking about work stuff," Emma said casually, then glanced at Victoria. "Actually, I wanted to ask you something, Vic. You know David so well. Do you think he's the type who appreciates surprises, or does he prefer to plan everything?" Victoria's eyes sharpened. Here was an opening to control the narrative. "Why would you be planning surprises for my fiancé?" Victoria's voice carried just the right amount of confusion mixed with territorial concern. Emma blinked innocently. "For your engagement party, obviously. I thought maybe I could help coordinate something special. But if you'd rather handle everything yourself..." No, Victoria said quickly, already calculating. "David loves thoughtful gestures. Very traditional values, you know. He especially appreciates it when women show they understand loyalty and family priorities." Emma nodded, filing that information away. Traditional values, loyalty, family priorities. "That's so sweet of you to help plan," Victoria continued, warming to her theme. "Though you know how men can be, they need to see consistency in the women they're with. David especially values honesty and direct communication. He's told me how much he dislikes women who play emotional games." Their mother was listening to every word, and Emma caught the slight frown on Helen's face. Victoria was oversharing again, showing off her insider knowledge while subtly putting Emma down. "That makes sense," Emma agreed. "I mean, after what happened with Marcus, I definitely learned my lesson about communication styles." Victoria's smile turned predatory. "Exactly. Some people just need to learn these lessons the hard way." But Helen's frown deepened, because what Victoria had just revealed was that she knew intimate details about David's preferences, the kind of details you only share when you're trying to control someone else's behavior. Emma excused herself early, claiming a work emergency. As she gathered her purse, she heard her mother asking Victoria, "How exactly do you know so much about what David dislikes in women?" Phase 1 complete. Victoria had just shown their mother her true colors without realizing it. But Emma was just getting started. Victoria's engagement was in 3 weeks, and Emma had so much more to plant. Emma's phone buzzed at 6:47 a.m. with a text that made her blood run cold. "Emergency family meeting. Victoria has news. Come to the office at 9 a.m. Mom." By the time Emma arrived at Chen Digital Solutions, Victoria was already holding court in the main conference room. David sat beside her, looking slightly shell-shocked, while their mother beamed with the kind of joy usually reserved for IPO announcements. "Emma!" Victoria practically glowed as she waved her left hand, where a massive diamond caught the morning light. "We're engaged. David proposed last night." The ring was gorgeous. The timing was suspicious. Emma forced herself to smile and hug her sister, even as her mind raced. This wasn't planned. Victoria's carefully orchestrated timeline had always put the engagement at Christmas, 6 months away. Something had spooked her into accelerating. "It's beautiful," Emma said, and meant it. "David, you have excellent taste." David smiled, but there was something uncertain in his eyes. "Victoria deserves the best." "He's been planning this for weeks," Victoria gushed. "Haven't you, darling? He said he just couldn't wait any longer to make me his wife." But Emma caught the slight tension in David's jaw, the way he didn't quite meet Victoria's eyes. Whatever had happened last night, it hadn't been David's idea to propose. Their mother was already in full CEO mode. "We'll need to announce this properly. Victoria, I'm thinking a company-wide presentation. You know how our investors love to see family stability in the leadership team." Emma's pulse quickened. A presentation. To the board. The perfect venue. "Actually, Mom," Emma said carefully, "I've been working on something that might be perfect for this. A presentation about family dynamics and business success. I could adapt it to celebrate Victoria and David's engagement." Victoria's eyes narrowed slightly, but their mother clapped her hands together. "Perfect. Emma's presentations are always so thoughtful. When can you have it ready?" "This Friday?" Emma suggested. "That gives me 3 days to make it special." "Friday it is," Helen declared. "Full board meeting, all department heads. We'll make it an event." Victoria looked like she wanted to object, but how could she? Her little sister was offering to celebrate her engagement in front of the most important people in the company. As the meeting broke up, Emma lingered behind. Through the glass walls, she watched Victoria and David in the hallway. Victoria was animated, talking rapidly, while David stood with his hands in his pockets, nodding but not really engaging. 3 days. Emma had 3 days to prepare the presentation that would destroy her sister's perfect life. But first, she had a phone call to make. Marcus answered on the first ring. "It's time," Emma said simply. "I'll get the others." Friday arrived with the kind of crisp autumn air that made everything feel like a new beginning. Emma stood outside the Chen Digital Solutions building, watching the board members and department heads file in through the glass lobby. Her laptop bag felt heavier than usual, weighted down by months of evidence and 3 sleepless nights of preparation. Victoria had chosen a cream-colored dress that photographed beautifully. She'd even brought flowers for the conference table. Every detail was perfect for what she thought would be her coronation as the family's golden child. Emma took her place at the front of the room, her hands steady on the remote. The presentation title slide was simple. Family Values, a Case Study in Leadership. "Thank you all for joining us today," Emma began, her voice carrying the confidence of someone who'd found her truth. "When my mother asked me to create something special for Victoria's engagement, I realized this was the perfect opportunity to share what I've learned about leadership, manipulation, and the cost of ambition." Victoria's smile flickered. Emma clicked to the next slide, a timeline spanning 5 years, marked with relationship endings, career setbacks, and family conflicts. "You see, I've been studying patterns, specifically how someone can systematically destroy relationships and careers while appearing to be the perfect daughter, sister, and colleague." The room grew quiet. David shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "For example," Emma continued, "let's look at the text messages my sister sent to my boyfriend of 2 years, priming him to see manipulation in my every action." the screen filled with Victoria's messages to Marcus, each one a calculated strike against Emma's character. Victoria shot to her feet. "Emma, what are you doing? This is supposed to be a celebration," Emma finished. "And it is. We're celebrating the truth." The next slide showed Victoria's journal entries, her own words condemning her. Plans to eliminate Emma from the VP consideration. Strategies for breaking up her relationships. Detailed analyses of how to exploit family dynamics. David's face had gone pale. Their mother's expression was unreadable. "But here's what's truly remarkable," Emma said, her voice growing stronger. "Victoria applied these same tactics to everyone in her life. David, did you know she's been tracking your insecurities for months? That she manipulated you into proposing early because she was afraid her control was slipping?" Emma clicked to the final slide, a recording device icon. "Last night I had dinner with Victoria, just the two of us, sisters sharing secrets." Emma pressed play. Victoria's voice filled the room. "David's so easy to manage. I just mentioned how much I value family loyalty and stability, and he gets this look like he needs to prove himself. The proposal was almost too easy. Men are so predictable when you know which buttons to push." The silence that followed was deafening. David stood up slowly, his chair scraping against the floor like a gunshot. He looked at Victoria with the expression of someone who'd just realized they'd been living in a house of mirrors. 5 months, he said quietly. 5 months you've been playing me." "David, no, that's not..." Victoria's voice cracked. For the first time in Emma's memory, her sister looked genuinely panicked. "The family loyalty speeches, the comments about what kind of woman I needed. Even last week when you said I should propose before Emma's jealousy caused problems." David shook his head. "It was all manipulation." He pulled the engagement ring from his pocket, Victoria's perfect symbol of control, and placed it gently on the conference table. "I can't marry someone I don't know," he said, and walked out. Victoria turned to their mother, tears streaming down her face. But Helen Chen was looking at her eldest daughter like she was seeing her for the first time. "The VP promotion Emma earned," Helen said slowly. "You told me she wasn't ready, that she was too emotional for leadership." "Mom, I was trying to protect the company." "You were protecting yourself." Helen's voice carried the cold authority that had built an empire. "From your own sister, your own family." Victoria looked around the room desperately, but every face showed the same expression, people who'd finally seen behind the mask. "Emma," Victoria whispered, turning to her sister with raw desperation. "Please, we can fix this. We're family." Emma felt something shift in her chest. For just a moment, she saw the scared little girl who'd learned that control was the only way to feel safe. But then she remembered Marcus's confusion, her own shattered confidence, the years of systematic destruction. "We are family," Emma said quietly. "But family doesn't mean accepting abuse." Helen cleared her throat, her CEO voice filling the room. "Victoria, you'll be taking a leave of absence effective immediately. Emma, I believe we need to discuss your promotion to VP of Marketing." 3 months later, Emma sat in her new corner office, watching the city skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows. Victoria had moved to Portland, working for a smaller agency, slowly rebuilding her life without the luxury of family connections to manipulate. They texted occasionally now, short messages, careful boundaries. Marcus knocked on her door, carrying 2 cups of coffee and wearing the smile that had made her fall in love with him the first time. "Any regrets?" he asked, settling into the chair across from her desk. Emma thought about it. Victoria's life had imploded. Their family dynamics would never be the same. The cost of truth had been higher than anyone expected. "No," she said finally. "Some people need to fail their own test before they can learn to pass anyone else's." Outside her window, The sun was setting over a city full of people learning the same lesson she had. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to be manipulated. Even by family, especially by family. The end.